and I'm speaking from Abridge Village Church. This is a short reflection for Sunday, 26th of September, on Mark chapter 9, from verse 38. It's one of the oldest diversion tactics in the book. Whenever things are getting a bit too close for comfort or we feel slightly threatened, one response is to go on the attack and say something like, "But what about them?" Jesus had been unpacking what it meant to follow him, and there was some difficult ideas to understand. Things like becoming last, not first, becoming like a child, not a grown-up, and of course, of taking up your cross. And perhaps it was all becoming a little uncomfortable for the disciples on this long journey south towards Jerusalem. So they think to themselves, let's distract him with a question and turn the focus away from ourselves. So it was John who set the ball rolling by asking this question. What about those other people, he says, the ones who are using your name but don't belong to our group, the ones who are copying your miracles of healing but aren't true disciples like we are. This, though, isn't just an age-old distraction. It's actually a genuine question about just where God is at work. And God is clearly at work way beyond our understanding of where and through whom. There are others who use the name of Jesus or who live lives following his example and his character, consciously or not, who are doing good things. So should they be regarded with suspicion and judgment and be a focus for our evangelism to bring them back into our fold? What was Jesus' response to the question and to our thinking too? His response was perhaps a surprise. Leave them be, is what he effectively says. They're doing a good thing. They're not against us. And if they're using my name, they'll soon be drawn to come and follow us. Anyone who does good will be celebrated, should be celebrated. Even those who give you a glass of water, just as I would do, says Jesus, is doing a good thing as far as God is concerned. And then Jesus gets straight to the point. Stop looking at what others are doing and think more about what your response is to what I've been saying. It's people doing bad things that is the problem. People causing others to stumble. That's what we should be focusing on. And if people are doing that, then they deserve to win your disapproval. And in fact, far more than that, they stand under judgment. Are you doing good? Or are you getting in people's way? Are you a stumbling block or a stepping stone? And whether you're doing that or not often depends on what you're like on the inside. And then Jesus takes us back to thinking about ourselves again, rather than pointing the finger at someone else. Sort out your own life, he says. If there are things that are wrong with you, deal with that first. Come to God with those shortcomings and ask for forgiveness and for help to be different. And Jesus uses quite vivid language to make this point. He talks about cutting off your hand or your foot or blinding yourself rather than leading others astray and ruining your own life. There's a choice to be made. Do you want to be the best you can be with God, or do you want to end up on the rubbish heap, he says? Or rather, Jesus describes it like this: the city dump outside Jerusalem where there's always a fire burning. This challenge to wholehearted discipleship isn't just for his followers back then. It's for us now today. A challenge to live a life that isn't half-hearted in its desire to do good and to follow the way of Jesus. Then Jesus ends with a very simple picture. He talks about fire and salt. We all need to have bad things burned away inside of us. That's what Jesus came to do through the cross. And then we should become like salt, he says. The salt that in those days was used to preserve things, to keep them from going rotten. Christian disciples are to be salt in the places where they live, helping those around them to discover life in all its fullness, to stop things going rotten, and perhaps also like salt, to give people a thirst to know God for themselves. May our lives not be stumbling blocks, but stepping stones that help others become the best that they can be.